Oh.
Still I rise, no matter what may come my way. Not built to break, I stand strong every day.
You're listening to I Rise Tea Party. Tarsha T. Rogers, only on LA Talk Radio.
Good evening. Welcome to the Tea Party. I am one of your hosts, Miss Tarsha T. Rogers, and I have my co-hosts with me today. I have Tracy, and I have Kenji. I have Miss Tesra.
Hi.
How are you, ladies?
Doing well, thanks.
Hi.
Everybody good?
Everybody's good. I'm good.
Good, good, good. What's going on in your world, Tracy?
Ooh, nothing much. You know, I'm blessed. I'm walking around here and I'm looking at numbers going up all around the city, and I'm just, because I know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm staying out of the way.
Yeah.
I am staying careful. I'm using my gloves again. I'm using my mask because I don't want any type of rehab, anything to happen again.
Yeah.
So I'm good. So if people who actually fear this thing, if you know what I know, you be covering up and doing what you need to do. That's all I got to say.
What's going on in your world, Kenji Kenj?
I'm doing great. I actually recently got tested.
Oh, okay.
I'm happy to say that my test was negative. So that was great. It was weird because I knew it would be negative. But I got that email saying this was. Can I tell you the butterflies and that anticipation that I felt? And then logging in, I was having difficulties. I'm like, no. So, but all is well.
Good. Very good.
It's healthy. Everybody's great.
Good. What's going on in your world, Miss Ted? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kenji. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, sweetie.
That's okay. I just took the test because I was around someone that had tested positive for COVID. And so that's why I made sure that I tested. Made sure I was.
Gotcha. So it was somebody you were kind of around?
Like for a second. like,
Okay.
yeah, not even a long period of time, but just took precaution.
That might be all it takes is a second.
Come on now. That's why I was like, oh,
Yeah. What's going on with you, Miss Ted?
Nothing much. Just getting ready for our last fellows orientation. So can't wait for that. And that will conclude the new academic year this year.
Excellent. Excellent. And are you still doing that whole temperature thing or no?
Yeah, it's trying getting out of it, but it's every Monday, just once a week now until October, and they have given us proper PPE.
Okay.
We're wearing gloves and mask and a face shield, and no one can enter the building without a mask.
Mm. Okay. Well, in the news, what do you guys think about Trump suddenly doing an about face with the virus, canceling rallies? He's encouraging people to wear masks. He is having his task meetings again. What do you guys think of that? I have my opinions, but what do you guys think?
It's BS.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to, he's trying to, get his fan base on board and try to be presidential, but people see right through that crap.
Yeah, I kind of feel it's a little bit too little, too late.
Yes,
Yeah.
that too.
There's been no leadership, absolutely at all, with this virus, and
Right.
so now because the poll numbers are in Biden's favor, you want to try to pretend like you're a president.
Right.
And
Exactly.
hearing about this stuff a long time ago. So your colors have already been shown. You've already been told to be incompetent. So to try to step up now after 100, I don't even know, what is it today? Is it 100?
140 some people.
Yeah.
Dude, homeboy, you should have did that a long time ago. When you were, it's only 2 people. That's all it's going to be. It's just 2 people. Well, here we are in July.
Yeah.
And also, he said it was gonna go away.
He's still
Yes. What's that old phrase? If you can't beat them, join them.
Right.
You couldn't beat this one.
but not anytime soon and not under his watch. It's not going away because he's not providing any type of leadership. And the people that are experts on this, that know the science and understand the science, push them away and silence them. So.
Mm-hmm. And he's talked about Dr. Fauci. So it's like, hey, well,
Dr. Fauci playing baseball tonight, shoot.
Right.
He out there throwing pitches. He doing presidential stuff.
Yeah, I had that on my list to talk about the whole baseball coming back today.
Oh wow.
Coming back with no people in the stands, correct?
Correct. They have
no people in the
cardboard
stands.
Cardboard people.
Yeah, cardboard people.
Oh wow, interesting. I think of course, aside from golf, maybe tennis, I definitely think they could maybe pull baseball off. I'm sorry, I ain't feeling the basketball and the football, and not in terms of watching it, but just in terms of people's safety. I don't think they're going to pull that off without a lot of people getting sick.
Basketball is playing. I saw people on my timeline. A couple of people saying, "Oh, the Lakers are on." I don't know who they're playing against, but a friend of mine said it just looks weird because I guess she streamed it.
Okay.
So.
And there's nobody in their stands either, correct?
No, there's no one.
But I think football plans on having people in the stands.
I don't think so. I don't know if they
I
should.
don't know how I feel about any of this. They shouldn't do football because it's not going to feel the same.
Right.
With any of it, you're used to the crowd. You're used to the people yelling and hollering and cheering you on.
Right.
I don't think they're going to get that, even no matter what what sound you put on, you have the DJ play, you're gonna miss your fan.
Yes,
You're gonna miss your fan. I
Yeah.
mean, wow.
Yeah.
I'm a football fan, and I don't know if I don't know.
well, my son has told me when he goes back to school in August, he will not be playing football. And he said
Good.
he came to the decision because he doesn't like the responses that he got from the coaches in terms of their safety. And, the coaches are telling them, you'll have to do your own testing, you'll have to do your own whatever, and blah, 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 blah. And so my son's like, well, I'm not going to put the lives of my family members at risk with this nonchalant attitude. So he made a real adult decision, and he's going back to school next month, but he said he's not playing football. So I commend him for that, because I know that kid eats, sleeps, drinks, and football is everything for him. So I commend him for that. But he said it would haunt him forever if he came home Thanksgiving and infected everybody because he's been out playing. So especially, he said if they had some type of plan, he might have considered it. But he said he's not risking his life and the lives of his family. And they don't even have a decent plan, and they don't seem to give a damn. So he's like, I'm cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and him, we had a little talk. So he was, leaning towards that. And I'm glad that his decision is final.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't want him to go back to school, period, because I figured that, these schools from elementary to college, they need to, if you have, the mechanism to stay at home and do your classes online, what's the rush to going back?
Yeah.
What is the rush of going back?
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I have to let him make his own decision on that one, because I believe he's going in as a senior. So, I think he just wants to hurry up and get through so he can move into his career. So I can understand that as well. He's got a pretty good head on his shoulders. And, the only thing he does in terms of even now, in terms of going out, they go hang out at a donut shop that's open at like midnight over here in Camarillo. Me and Keith call it, if you guys watch Chappie Days, we call it Arnold's. I'm like, oh, you going to Arnold's? They hang out outside, everybody's in their cars or whatever, and they got their mask on, they're standing around, because one time I actually drove by there just to see, and they hanging out outside.
Nosy.
Oh, I have to,
Oh my God, stalker!
Hanging out outside, in the distance with their mask on, and that's the extent. And then he comes back home. He might go get him something to eat and in and out. He might get him some, go to the gas station to get him some vitamin water. And that is the extent of, oh no, he does one more thing. He will go hiking with his friend Dylan, and they're outside, spaced apart, with their mask on, hiking. And that's the extent of his socializing. So I'm a little concerned once he goes back to school, are they going to keep them in separate dorms? Is he going to have to share a dorm? Last year, he had a dorm all to himself. If we could get that again, that would be wonderful. But, I'm a little concerned, but it helps that he's got a good head on his shoulders.
I was told student athletes, since I have a new college student, they want him to come up around the 15th, but he's going to be in his own dorm, even though they may, they're charging you like you would be 3 different students. He's going to be in a dorm for social distancing. They're going to put him in dorms by themselves. So he may very well be in a dorm by himself.
Excellent.
Because right now, I was told that if my son flew, we have to quarantine him for 14 days before he interacts with anybody else. And if we drive him, they're going to test them all. They're testing all the student athletes as they arrive on the campus. So they give you your little nose test or whatever they do.
They have a thought out plan. That's excellent. That's excellent. It sounds the athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys hear about the party at that house? See it when you drive on Slauson, that big white mansion looking house. I think it's not corny.
Yeah.
The
Shenandoah.
one that had the lions in front of it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That
What
apparently,
about it? Somebody had a party?
they use that for an Airbnb.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
I
so,
kind of figured that because no one doesn't really live there.
so there was a party of 70 people.
I
In,
used to live across the street from it.
and so you already COVID worry now, but on top of it, somebody leaving the party was shot and killed.
That was the shooting.
What?
That is
Wow.
so sad. That is so sad. We still at that. That's what makes it, that sickens my stomach with all that's going on with George Floyd and everything else. We still are some dumb asses shooting up each other. You couldn't have come to some type of agreement to where you didn't have to take this young man's life.
Right.
It makes me sick to my stomach that at the simple fact that you could not calm yourself enough. You would take this young man away from his family and his loved ones behind what? Something stupid? Another young black man or whatever, another young person. It's sickening. It's sickening. There's no excuse for any of that.
No.
None.
I agree.
That's a cowardly.
None.
People shoot people. That's straight up coward.
Yeah.
If you can't handle it like a man and go talk to that person and resolve whatever it is that you would have to
Yep.
resort to that. That's a coward.
I totally agree.
And they don't think about, Tracy, you're right. They don't think about who they're taking that person away from.
Yeah.
What if that was a father who was the sole provider of his family?
Exactly. It's really sad. Oh, to answer Sharon's question, you asked me, did Braxton have the option to go totally online? No, they are actually going to have in-person classes in August, but then when they leave for Thanksgiving, that's it. And then they don't come back to February. But if flu season is bad or things got worse, then they will be online for the remainder of the second semester. So that's what they're doing. I quite frankly wish he would just transfer to a Cal State school out here and just go on and finish and call it a day. But you know, sometimes you just have to let them make their decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Braxton is very smart. You guys raised a really, really good son. I've been around him, and he's very respectful. And I really like that. I could tell that you guys put a lot of time and attention into that young man.
Mhm.
Parents, their young boys. That when you spend time with your child like that, making sure that they're very respectful and they know how to do the right thing. You know, I say the same thing about Makai. Then we don't have to worry about them going out and doing some cowardly mess and shooting up people.
Right. Your kids is the reflection of you
There you go.
as a parent.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got some good kids too, Kenji. You know, your older son as well as your daughter, and even Zach. I was like, yeah, I like Zach. He can come back over here anytime.
Yes, he just turned 6 yesterday.
Aww.
My baby.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Gotta tell y'all about that. Look, that's a whole other topic.
okay.
My ex-husband and his parents came over yesterday with Kate.
Oh, wow.
It was nice. See how people put their differences aside?
Uh-huh. Mm,
Yeah, you have to for your children.
absolutely. That's that co-parenting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Been there. Still there. I'm still there. It's all good.
Thank you, Rory. Thank you very much. Ladies, look what I have. What I'm reading.
What is it?
Is that the niece's
Oh,
book?
she got the book.
The book by the
She
niece.
got the niece's book.
So how do you feel about
Oh
it so
my.
far? How many chapters?
So I got sidetracked last night and was working on some stuff. I'm already on page 15. I just started it last night though.
Okay.
Came the day before yesterday. And it's funny because she took on how everybody says he's a narcissist, and she said he is a narcissist, but it goes a lot deeper than that. She hasn't gone into what she means by that, but she starts off kind of talking about how he was first in office and they had some type of birthday or something at the White House for somebody in their family, and she was invited, and she just how cold and distant he was, and it's kind of, and then that's when she started talking about everybody wants to label Donald a narcissist, and which to some degree he is, but his personality disorders go a lot deeper than that. Like, wow. So
Sure.
I'll keep you posted. I'm sure probably by the next show I would have finished it, so I'll give you my take on it.
Now, Joshua, what was that? I couldn't barely see because the thing is up.
So it's called Too Much, Never Enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Too Much and Never Enough. Mary L. Trump, which is his niece.
I'm sorry, the little live thing is right there. So,
Okay.
I couldn't see it, but I can see it now. Thank you, babe.
Okay. Yeah. So, I pre-ordered it a couple of weeks ago, and it just came a couple of days ago. So, just give me some insight. I already know he's nutty as a fruitcake, but it'll be interesting to see what she has to say. I want to see about the SAT and how he pays somebody to take the SATs and all of that good stuff.
Oh my. Oh, Donald.
Today's topic.
Ooh.
I was like, So I'm going to read what the person said.
Uh-huh.
So my sister is a nurse that works with hospice patients. She was recently in the hospital for a week after finding out she had blood clots in her lungs and also diabetes. She returned to work shortly after getting better. Her first day back, her boss wanted her to start working in the COVID wing. My sister said that's a death sentence basically for her, and the boss commented that everyone is going to get it eventually, so get it done. You're not special because you're immunocompromised. My sister looked at her boss and quit. While walking to her car, she gets a text notification from the boss. The following pic was attached. Is there anything she can do about it, or should she just let it go? She's already started at a new job, but this makes her feel some type of way. So now the picture says, go to that. So you're obese, smoke, don't exercise, and have diabetes, but you want everyone to wear a mask because you care about your health. And I'm just gonna hold that up there, one of those memes. So you're obese, smoke, don't exercise, and have diabetes, but you want everyone to wear a mask because you care about your health. Baby, I'm not saying this just because I'm HR and know the law, but baby, when I would own one hospital, they'd have my name right up there with all the other names of whoever else, because
owns the company.
And I would sue them for everything they had.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
And I will be honest that there's some truth to that statement. However, it's so inappropriate, and to say that to anyone in a work setting is just it's ridiculous and totally inappropriate. And I definitely want to get you guys' take on it, but what is your take on the overall statement itself?
It's very insensitive.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Insensitive.
yes.
And that person just didn't give a damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
He left.
No compassion, no whatsoever.
And even though there might be some truth to it, well, you've let yourself go, but yet you care about your health.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm heavy and I got diabetes and I got high blood pressure. And if he said that to me, let me just tell you, it wouldn't have came out the way that it came out with her. He would have definitely known before I left there, especially if I had already quit.
Right.
Before I left there, he was gonna know what I was thinking or what I was feeling at that particular moment. I don't know. I guess I'm verbal. I am very verbal. She must be, an introvert or something. I don't think that I would have
We'll let that go.
him
Yeah.
to disrespect me in the manner at which, and I would let it be known loudly so that other people will know. So that when I get ready to sue your ass, everybody knows that I done already warned you, and I done
Right.
told you what you said, and I done put you on blast
Right.
in front of everybody in the building. Everybody that's around would know what he said to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's two ways you can handle that, of course, there is of course, get back at them. If, give them your 2 cents about how they made you feel, because of course that was.
You're going in and out, kid.
You unmute yourself. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was getting a phone call. That person should not be in a leadership position at all. Person was a supervisor. You have to know, supervisor, administrator, anything, your personal feelings do not matter when it comes to employees. And regardless if the person quit or not, you still have an obligation to uphold a standard as a person of authority. Now, me personally, that would have took a lot of thought, because you could think, well, since I quit, then I could say something. Or from a legal standpoint, you can take that information and utilize it to your advantage. Now I'm gonna seek counsel, because this has caused me emotional distress. I could say that this person has made comments like that to me verbally, and the person could deny it, but I have proof that that if you're willing to do the paper trail of making comments, inappropriate comments to me, then yeah, you can convince a jury that this person would make comments to you when nobody's around or what have you. You know what I mean? So, and you can say that the reason why you quit was not only because of what that person said, was you felt stressed. And what gives that person the right to say that you didn't wear a mask because you caught COVID? You don't know you don't know where you were when you caught it, who you were around. You can't, that person made an assumption that she doesn't wear masks and that's how she got it. So you never know. There's too many ways that that person could get in trouble. So my first goal would be to get that person fired.
Yes.
Me personally, I would have commented. I wouldn't have said anything back. I would have used that to my advantage, and I would have went above that person and took it straight to the next level and said, I quit. And I would have had a journal of why I quit. I would have laid it all out. And I would have, I ain't gonna lie, I would have added extras.
Yeah.
Driving home crying. It's causing me, this person making comments, it's affecting my sex life because now I have low self-esteem. I work in law, so I've seen people sue in pain and suffering. You can say things like that. That is something that you can get pain and suffering for.
Mhm.
If you're active and now somebody that made comments and they're messing with your self-esteem, and that could mess up your relationship, your whole all kind of stuff. Bottom line is that person was foul and they need to be reprimanded.
And you know what? So when the person says, so you're obese, smoke, don't exercise, and have diabetes, but you want everyone to wear a mask because you care about your health. So because I'm playing devil's advocate, and I totally agree 100%, it's totally inappropriate. So you're making the assumption that because this person is overweight and has diabetes, that this is what they chose for themselves.
Right.
Nobody wants to be overweight. Nobody wants to be diabetic. Nobody wants any of the comorbidities that they may have. And you don't know how many attempts they may have made to correct those things. So
Right.
you're assuming because they don't want to come into work and catch COVID, that they're contradicting themselves because they're overweight and don't exercise and smoke, that they automatically don't care about their health anyway.
Mhm.
And that's such a wrong assumption to make. Who are you to make this assumption? On top of what you're saying, Kenji, with the legalities of it and it being totally inappropriate and against the law to make those comments.
Yes,
So.
yes, yes, yes.
So it's twofold. How dare you make assumptions that I don't care about my health because I'm overweight or have diabetes or high blood pressure or anything else, and to say that I deserve to work in a COVID wing and catch COVID and end up getting sicker. I don't care about my health anyway.
Yeah. You're basically telling somebody you deserve to die
Right.
because you're fat
Right.
and
Right.
you're sickly. Let's just put it out there and let's get forget the right way to say the thing and let's just put it out there and be vulgar with it. You fat, you nasty.
Shaming, fat shaming.
Yeah, fat shaming.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had a coworker that gained weight in the last 3 weeks because her asthma was so bad that they had to put her on prednisone. You know, that's a steroid. So she gained 15 pounds in 3 weeks. So what would it look like if she came back to work and I made a comment like, "Dang, girl, look how big you got." And she's like, "Well, I had to take prednisone because I couldn't breathe." Well, it sounds like you need to be trying to get some fresh air or something. I don't know what your problem is. And you see, I mean, really?
Right. Right.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna take sensitivity classes for things like that.
There are sensitivity classes. That, you know, when I come across these type of situations in human resources, the first thing I do is assign somebody a sensitivity class. It's like, you don't say things like that.
Right.
It's not your business if somebody's overweight.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely would be owning that hospital.
Oh, yeah.
That's just wrong. It's wrong. It's two left shoes. I understand these nurses' apprehension, you know, if they have underlying health conditions. You know, I think, I don't know if Treasure shared last week, she's similar. She's a cancer survivor and she works at a hospital. And for the most part, she's working from home, but a couple of times has had to go in and do temperature checks for some of the employees, and it makes her a little uncomfortable. And it's understandable. You know, nobody wants this disease, whether it's their job to help others or not, whether it's their job, you know, to be a doctor or nurse or whatever, they're in a healthcare setting. No one still wants to get this, no matter who it is.
Right. And let me ask you this: why aren't these jobs offering incentives for people to do that? For example, I happen to be blessed to where my job is allowing me to work from home. I do get to go, I go and work 2 days a week and I stay home 2 days a week. But if there's an issue with, say if I don't have anybody to watch my baby and I tell them, unfortunately, I'm going to have to work from home, they're fine with that. Or if I tell them I have someone elderly in my house and I can't go to work because I'm, you know, I guess elderly people are more susceptible to COVID. So, but if you're a nurse, if you're somebody that they call the essential workers, aren't they offering them an incentive? Just instead of regular pay, why don't you
Hazard pay.
have or hazard pay? Thank you. Why not?
And I think that's what a lot of people have been fighting for a while, is some sort of hazard pay. But then I think the issue is whose responsibility is it? Because some people are looking for the government to do it. And, you know, I guess that's a start, but considering who's in charge right now, it's not going to happen. So then I think, to me, coming from an HR perspective, I think the burden falls on an employer. So why aren't employers doing this? You know, the grocery store people, why aren't you paying your people extra? Because they're really putting themselves out there. Hospital, why aren't you putting your CNAs, your LVNs, your doctors, giving them some type of extra incentive to put their life on the line the way that they are?
Probably because they probably feel they could do it because they employ these people. However, they probably feel that it's not their place to do it because the government oversees everybody. And the government should have foreseen this from happening, should have prevented it from happening. And they didn't. So it needs to, unfortunately, as a result, it needs to come out of their pocket.
Yeah.
Point blank, plain and simple. It needs to come out of their pocket. You dropped the ball. You dismantled an agency that was specifically to combat pandemics. And you want to be an ass, and you did that. So therefore, you need to suffer the consequences in giving, the essential workers hazard pay. And I'm not talking about just the physicians and the nurses. I'm talking about the EVS workers. They got to clean.
Yes.
Before a surgery and after a surgery. Yes. Ones who cleans the hospitals. Yes. They need hazard pay as well. Mm-hmm. So you got to suffer the consequences. You dropped the ball, so as a result, you need to pay up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That Stater Brothers gave their employees hazard pay. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you have to wonder who owns Stater Brothers.
Right.
They might be privately owned, or maybe they apply for some type of assistance or something, because there are programs out there that are assisting people that are businesses. I would say try to what kind of resources they could get to help these businesses to be able to assist their employees.
Right.
Yeah. I know that like Ralph's and Kroger's, because Ralph's is under Kroger's, I know they were doing hazard pay in the very beginning of this, back in March, April, and May, but then somewhere around in May, they stopped it. And it's like, why? Nothing got better. But I think part of the problem is it goes back to what I've been saying is we don't have any proper leadership. So people are looking to the government and the president for answers, and they're not getting them. They're not getting support. They're not getting any true leadership.
Right.
Because the when you go all the way up the chain, they don't know what to do, and they're not doing anything. These governments are looking for guidance. They're not getting the guidance. The mayors are looking for guidance. They're not getting the guidance. And so then everybody's doing their own thing and have to take matters into their own hands.
Right.
And we're not the same.
And you know what too, Tarsha? Ladies, that I'm talking to different people. One of the conversations we were having last night here at my house with my in-laws was we were talking about one of my mother-in-law's nephews is a nurse. He's out of work right now because there's work, and they're saying that the reports that we're seeing on the news are not true, that there's some hospitals that are actually empty. And there's a lot of people that are dying from things that are not COVID related, and they're putting COVID on there. So let me tell you, the problem is that you're right. It starts at the head, and the leadership is so screwed up right now that everybody is all over the place.
Yeah.
It's like we don't know what to believe anymore. I got stopped wearing a face shield. They told me when I went to Target, because they told me I didn't have a mask, and I told you guys that. I argued that, like, I'm like, the face shield is supposed to be more protective because it covers my whole face. And lady argued with me about that. Well, they come on TV and tell you the face shield is better because it covers your eyes, and now you can get the COVID. Nobody really knows. One thing is they say it's a virus. Then you hear that it's a bacterial infection. What is it? They're all over the place. And the problem is that we don't have any concrete nothing is concrete.
No.
You got Fauci coming out, and Trump was like pro Fauci. Anytime anybody says something that goes against anything Trump says, then he turns on them. So now he's against Fauci. And Fauci is like, no, I'm standing by what I said. I don't care about what Trump says. You know, I go with facts. We already know. I don't even think he know how to spell facts. So we already know we can't look to Trump for anything fact. I will say not anything, because there have been some things that he has said that is true. Like when he comes out and says his name, that's a fact.
Yeah.
But that's the problem, is that it's just so much out there that is like untrue, not true, and so much that's they can't really figure it out.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I think just the problem in general.
Right. Yeah, it's a mess. And then you also hear the flip side of that. You hear that hospitals are inflating numbers, but then you hear hospitals are underreporting numbers, some of them. So are we truly getting anything that's correct? I do believe that it's a rapidly spreading virus. That much I do believe. And I believe that we opened up too soon. But it's we have a president that says, that continues to say it's going to go away. It's not that serious. Calling it the kung flu and all that other stupid stuff that he said, and and just totally downplaying it because it makes him look bad, and he thinks
Yeah, it does.
affect the election results. Well, it's like at the end of the day, do you give a damn about anybody but yourself? So that's why I made the post that I made, that all of our lives are at stake here. Because if this man stays in office, he's going to kill us.
Yeah, he is. That's what he's trying to do. That's what he's trying to do. I personally believe this whole thing started with something that he did. This whole thing started with something that he did that got out of control. He was trying to take out this whole whatever. And I think it just got out of control. That's why he was trying to walk around without a mask. Like he was untouchable.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to wear a mask, and I don't have to. You notice he still don't put a mask on.
He finally did.
What does he know that we don't know?
Right.
Right. Someone said it took for the Spanish flu, it took 2 years to contain it.
Wow.
Do we really have 2 years?
Wow.
Do we want to stay in the house?
Yeah, because it's a whole different generation. It's a whole different era, a whole different time. And so people are losing their minds as it is. For 4 months, they're already losing their minds.
Yeah. That's why sometimes I check, I will, check in with folks and like, how's everything? How are you doing mentally?
Yeah.
Because you do go into some type of, depression or, feel some type of way by, incorporating this as your normal life.
Yeah.
Well, it totally just threw away everything, and now this is your normal life, and you have to adapt to it, because you want to, keep healthy, keep your family members healthy, but yet and still, it's like you want to do something, you want to change up.
Yeah,
you really can't.
Yeah.
Let me tell you the habit that COVID has wreaked on me. Now, being at home every day, that's not so bad. I try to, Keith and I get out, we do our walks and all of that. But I can't drive the freeway anymore. I am being driven around. When I have to go to LA, or I am driven around like driving Miss Daisy. And it's so bad that I am now seeing a therapist. And I started that yesterday. And we're doing hypnotherapy he specializes in driving focus, because I think it kind of goes back to February when I got into the accident, but I think back in February, things were still normal.
and I still had to go to work. I was going to choir rehearsal. I was doing all kind of things. So I was still driving. I drove right after the accident. But then when we got shut down in March, I kind of stopped driving. I wasn't driving as much, driving here and there or whatever. And so when it was around the time of the protest, I drove to Carson and I started having these panic attacks. And now, I guess because I had that one attack, now I associate it with every time I get on the freeway. I can drive around this area all day long, no problem. And what I've been doing lately, I hop on the freeway and stay maybe 4 exits. And I really progressed well after my first therapy session yesterday. I hopped on, I drove to Oxnard, and I actually moved into the second lane because it's so bad. Now, all of y'all know I'm a very aggressive driver, and I know you know, Tesra. It's so bad that when I get on the freeway, I stay right there like the little old lady from Pasadena and don't move. And I'm the person that goes all the way to the fast lane, blowing my horn at everybody in my way, and I'm doing at least 80. All of that. I can eat. I can turn the wheel. I'm driving.
So I'm the one that's left with the road rage.
Yeah.
Darn.
I'm doing all of those different things at one time, and now I've been reduced to I barely even want to turn the radio if I'm driving the freeway. So
that's what soothes you.
It's a serious problem because, you know, families in LA, there are a lot of reasons why I go to LA. So I can't just stay out here in Camarillo and I'm, you know, it's not like I'm 70 or 80. So something's got to be done about it. So, but this is an effect that COVID has had on me because I'm not driving every day anymore, driving the freeways every day anymore. It's now created anxiety.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because of that. With me driving, it hasn't gotten to that far, but with what's going on, the traffic has picked up. And then you have speed demons.
Yeah.
Driving faster than me.
Yeah.
Driving down the dang on street, like, where you going?
Yes.
You almost hit my car. You know? So, yes.
Yeah.
I thought I was the only one that noticed people speeding more so now up and down the street because the streets are empty, first of all.
Yeah.
They're not as crowded as the norm, so people are driving a little bit erratically. So I'm guilty, but I'm trying to get where I'm going. And I feel like that sometimes, Tarsha, too, so you're not alone. Okay. Every now and then it's just like, okay, do I really want to get on? Do I want to be bothered with all of this? And since I live not far from Century, I can't stand driving Century.
Okay.
And everything that I need is on Century, like all the stores and the Target and everything. And I get like anxiety about a whole lot of people everywhere. Okay. And I know it has to be, you know, by me having coronavirus, I don't want to be around a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't stand it. I just, you know, and don't even try to sneeze or cough. Oh my God. You know, it's I'm kind of like that. I get it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think COVID, you know, you think it's not affecting you, but I think it's affecting everybody in some way or another. Even if they haven't had it or been close to anyone that's had it, it's affecting them one way or another. And it's definitely affecting the mental health of some people. You know, you live alone that I believe are depressed because, you know, they're not able to come in contact with people anymore. Mm-hmm. It's just really bad. And I'm sorry, at the end of the day, I always go back to one person who I really feel it's his fault because you didn't act on this the way you should have and as soon as you should have. I don't think it would have gotten this far.
It wouldn't have.
Yeah,
it wouldn't have if he had nipped it in the bud earlier.
Clinton, anybody, it would not have gotten this far.
Mm-hmm.
But you have someone who's mentally unstable running this country. And it's really, really sad. Mentally unstable.
There's this lady, young woman, she invited, I think, either him or Pence to her mother's funeral. And just to tell him, you basically killed my mother. Ooh. Because this should not have happened, should not have gotten this far
Mm.
to you know, for a virus to claim, you know, my loved one.
Wow.
Yeah, she basically, she invited him to the funeral, you
Wow.
know, just to see how this, you know, has affected everyone. Affected me, my, you know, my father, the rest of the family. You caused this.
Yeah.
That's deep.
That's so sad.
Wow. And, you know,
That is really sad.
I had thought of that too, Tedra, that if any of you all got sick or something happened or whatever, and you know, that you were really, really ill, he would be the person I would blame, because it didn't have to come to this. It did not.
Nope, nope, nope.
And I often wondered, what if, because that did cross my mind, what if I, you know, would have been, you know, positive, and then I have to go into the hospital. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm gonna have to, I have my affairs in order, but it's like, who's gonna come and see me or try to see me, you know?
Your family and loved ones can't come see you. And that's another horrible about this. So then if
Oh
someone
my God.
all alone,
You all alone. You have no one to advocate for you if you're older.
Yeah.
You know?
because I've already said, I mentioned this to Keith, I would rather you try every single thing. If something happens, I want you to try every single thing before you put me on that ventilator. Turn me on,
Right.
whatever. But and I'm telling you as my, you know, you're my sister, so you know you can be involved as well. Don't put her on that ventilator unless it's the absolute last
The
resort.
last thing. The last thing. Yeah.
Tracy is so blessed that she had a medical team that advocated for her not being on the ventilator. And here
Yeah.
she sits today.
Because that's a damn good team. For
Yeah.
you to think of every avenue. You went to school for this.
Yeah.
Think of every avenue and make that being on the ventilator the last resort.
Last resort.
And just think about it, I was mad because they didn't put me on it until I realized, you know, later on, the damage that could have been done.
Yes.
They had to put me on it.
I don't know.
You know, and I'm thinking that they weren't doing their jobs because they didn't put me on it. You know, but wait a minute.
Yeah.
The man looked at me, he said, "You breathing now. Breathe."
Yeah.
Okay, I'm breathing. I'm breathing.
I see your comment, Virginia. She's saying that she's doing a lot of teletherapy. The main issue is the ones that need therapy do not have access to the internet. And so this time it's horrific on one's mental health. And Virginia, while I have you on here, actually next week's show, I want to talk about Kanye. And I do want to talk about mental health and how it affects the Black community. So Virginia, I would love for you to join us next week. Because taboo subject with Black people anyway, and it needs to stop, because just you take care of your high blood pressure, your diabetes, or anything else that's going on with you, we've got to take care of our mental health. It's not cute, it's not funny, it's not something to dismiss, it's not something to sit there and be embarrassed about, it's something that has to be addressed and dealt with, period. I'm not ashamed to say that I have to see a therapy for my phobia with the freeway. I want to get beyond it. So I mean, there's no shame in my game. Oh, why you send a therapist? Black people don't see therapists. Well, this one does. If I feel it's this one does. So
Amen.
we need to get past all of that.
Yeah.
That Don Lemon had said that about a week or two ago, how he needed therapy for, I think with COVID or, dealing with, stuff, period. And you shouldn't be ashamed of that. It shouldn't be taboo. You shouldn't be embarrassed,
Right. And we need to be supportive for our family members that have any type of,
Yeah.
we've got to support them. And not, just let it be something that you don't talk about. No, deal with it. Just like if they break their arm, to the doctor. So if they need to see a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a therapist, then get them that help.
Right, because if you don't, it's gonna come out in a different way that they may not like. And it's like, okay, well, what's wrong with you?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to tell you.
Trust me. I'm a living witness. I'm a living witness just over the past week. I have a family member who has mental illness, and the mental illness landed him in jail.
Wow.
He's misunderstood.
Wow.
That's the sad part. That's the scary part. The scary part is that they're misunderstood. And you get these officers that are trigger happy with our family members that have mental disability because they don't understand. So it's but that's a really good topic for us next week.
Yeah,
to talk about because it's serious. It's a serious situation.
so she said it would be her pleasure. And she said she herself was in therapy for about 3 years prior to coming into the field. So definitely, Virginia, we would love to have you. So I'll give you all that information so you can be a part of the Tea Party.
Good.
I know when I was doing this show before, that was something I did want to talk about was mental health in the Black community. But with all this stuff about Kanye, you know, and people making jokes about it, it's not funny to me. And I really feel bad for him. And, you know, and I'm not going to sit there and down the Kardashians, but because he's a grown man. So what can they do? They're trying to get him help. But if he doesn't want the help, like Kim said, she did a statement and she said, you know, pray for us and pray for him. We're trying to do everything we can to help him. But if he doesn't want the help, what can they do? He's not a minor. They can't force him into treatment. And I believe with Kanye having some type of psychotic episode because he keeps stopping the medication that they've given him. And you can't stop that type of medication abruptly like that.
No, you can't.
So
No, you can't. Because when I was taking, I was on tamoxifen, and one of the side effects is depression, and it kind of changed my, I guess, personality or what have you. And I took Effexor and had me, you know, I'm fine and everything. But the longer you kind of take that kind of medicine, it's like you kind of alter yourself, and it's like you kind of passive. I remember I was driving, had my one of my girlfriends in the car, and you know how I drive, you know how I can be on the road, and someone just cut me off. I didn't react. That was cool. Then she looked at me like, "What's wrong with you?" You know, I was like, "Yeah, I was fine with it," but I was like, I normally really react to that differently. Yes. So I weaned myself off of it. It's nothing that you can't just abruptly.
Praise God. Yes, because your sister here did the opposite with Effexor. You know, when I had in 99, so I went to part of depression. Then T's died, our grandmother died in 2000. And so it was things that definitely heightened my depression. So I went on the Effexor, and I was on it from, I would say about, then I was robbed at gunpoint. So
that's your PTSD right there.
Yeah, that was PTSD. That was the breaking point. And I remember sitting in the parking lot at work, and I called mommy and just started screaming and hollering and saying, I can't take this. And so, you know, from that point on, you know, I started taking the Effexor, and I was on the Effexor, I would say, till about maybe 2005. And it was the same thing. It made me very passive, and I'm a strong will.
Right.
So like,
okay, you like willy nilly, like, oh, they were like, you own something. Yeah, we were on something, literally.
Because at that time, I was also dealing with some other things that I allowed to happen. I wasn't fighting back. I lost that fight.
Right.
That spirit in me.
It wasn't you.
And I stopped abruptly.
I couldn't, because your body can tell. Your body will give you, you know, kind of will tell you the signs. You can't stop certain medications abruptly. You gotta kind of wean yourself off of it.
Absolutely.
Slowly.
But I was so determined to get it. I can't take this mess no more. And I stopped abruptly, and I was sick for 2 weeks. I stayed with mommy, I believe, because this was when you all went to Louisiana, I think, on the train, and you took Braxton. And so I stayed with mommy for like 2 weeks. And I literally, I slept in your bed for 2 weeks because I was sick. I abruptly stopped that medication. Once I stopped taking it, I said, you know,
he was in my room. Daddy had slept it clean.
I started to slowly come back, and I started to feel like myself. I'm like, oh yeah, mess with me now. I got you. I started coming.
Lord.
I decided to do talk therapy. So I decided no more medication. I want to talk it out. So I did talk therapy, and that helped me tremendously. So
Okay.
Wow.
what's going to work for you?
I had a similar, my daughter was diagnosed with ADHD. And when she was in elementary school. So the teacher suggested that I get something to try to control the way that she was. It wasn't that she was disruptive. It was just like she would get bored with what was going on in the class. The teacher wasn't captivating enough to where he kept her attention. So she would get up in the middle of the class and start cleaning the class or doing whatever, because whatever they were talking about it wouldn't get her attention. She was just done with whatever. So she was kind of disruptive in class. So I took her to the psychiatrist and they talked to her and they gave her origami. They gave her all these things to do and she did with no problem. She's extremely bright. No problem. She would finish math, algebra, anything. You give it to her, she'd do it so fast and then hand it back to you. She was bored.
Wow.
So they did give her some type of, I can't think of the name of it. It altered my baby's personality. It brought her down so far down that she was like a zombie.
Wow.
And I could not put my baby on that. I refused. Yeah. And teachers had to deal from that day on, from that moment on when I saw my baby and I didn't like the way that she was. The teacher's gonna have to deal with her however she is. It just is what she is. She is what she is.
Right.
And you know that's the good part that we need to talk about too, because some folks on the outside, they don't understand what it means.
No, they don't.
Sometimes that's not what you need. You don't need medication. Sometimes, like you said, talk therapy or whatever it was.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We have run out of time for this week, so we got a good topic that's going to be next week. We'll talk about we'll have Virginia on as well. Thank you guys for joining us on the Tea Party. And as always, remember it's not and never falling, but it is rising every time we fall. And I know I left something out of that. I can't think, but anyway, still I rise. Still you rise, still we all rise. God is good, and we will be back here next week. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. Love you much. Love you much. I'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Still I rise, no matter what may come my way. Not built to break, I stand strong each and every day.
You're listening to Still I Rise Tea Party with Tarsha T. Rogers, only on LA Talk Radio.